What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're mixing it up a little bit, try to break the monotony, and I'm bringing you my first boss guide for Elden Ring. So the goal here is to bring you a boss guide for at least all the main story progression bosses, and I'll be mixing in some of the mini boss stuff later on. Maybe in between these, just because the mini bosses will be a little bit easier than these main bosses will be, so, well, some of them. But anyway, gonna be starting off with Margit the Fel here. Hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's go. Well, here we are. A little late, and yeah, that's fair, but let me walk you through everything you need to know about Margit the Fel. Now, there's a reason why so many people were struggling with this boss when the game first released, and I expect a lot more people are going to continue to struggle as they pick up their copy. So I figured I'd throw in my 2 cents worth of a guide to further pollute the algorithm a little more, and hopefully you guys enjoy this one, so let's get into it. Alright, Margit the Fel is the first real roadblock as a new player to the game, and you're essentially going to run into this guy at the end of your initial trudge through Limgrave. You can power up quite a bit before this fight, so for those who go out of their way and explore, you might find this to be a bit of an unnecessary guide, but if you're watching, well, I appreciate it even more. Opening the fight, Margit will almost always lead by throwing 2 golden daggers at you. These daggers are easy to avoid, and while you can block here, you're still going to receive some chip damage because the daggers are considered magical. So your best bet here to start off on a good foot is to avoid them by just rolling out of the way. After this, I would begin expecting Margit's leaping attack where he jumps up, does a very slight pause, and then comes crashing down on top of you. As a new player, you're going to likely try to dodge backwards just to get out of range of the boss, but I'm here to fix your bad habits. In this case, you actually want to dodge forward right before he hits the ground. Dodging last second like this maximizes your invulnerability frames, better known as iframes, which occur when you perform a dodge. If you dodge too early, then they wear off before the strike lands. Dodge too late and the strike lands before they're useful. So pay attention to the timing here and get comfortable with being patient on your rolls. Don't anticipate it, just be looking for when he's falling to the ground and then roll. As you can see, I did this fight with a random shitty shield that I found out in the world and pretty much no armor at all. So your gear isn't going to be a problem here. If you do have a good starter shield like the Vagabond class, you can tank quite a bit of damage up front without too much concern. The issue going into this route is, well, Margit follows up his strikes with a lot of other strikes, and it's going to ruin your stamina and end up breaking your posture, leaving you wide open to a very punishing follow-up attack. You can prevent this by blocking one hit and then timing the rest of the strikes with rolls. Now this sounds like it's a bit more complicated than just dodge rolling, but having the safety net of tanking that first hit will really make you feel more comfortable when standing in front of this guy. Other than the attacks with a staff, Margit also has the ability to whip out some golden magical weapons, and your shields will prevent some of this damage, but not all of it. So make sure you're looking out for these and you're ready to roll whenever you see a flash of gold. Now let's talk about parrying because it's very important here. You can beat Margit with no parrying whatsoever and never even realize that it was possible to begin with. In fact, most of you will do just that. I encourage you, however, to experiment with the staff strikes, especially if you have a small parrying shield like the buckler from the bandit class. The windows here are pretty forgiving, and in the kill video I'm using, I managed to land a few parries. One was super clutch at the end of the fight, which took off massive chunks of his health while also leaving my character perfectly healthy. Unfortunately, I ended up killing him before I completely got the timing down for parrying him, so I wasn't able to get a ton of examples, but the concept is as follows. You can see Margit raise up his staff directly above his head. I want you to think of this as a wind up for like a timer on an explosion. And once he reaches the top, his hand will slow down and then come crashing down, releasing the explosion. The timing here you're looking for as far as parrying goes is as soon as the staff starts coming down. It's a little unreliable, but for the most part, this is the easiest attack in the arsenal to parry. Now, unlike previous games, a parry won't break his posture immediately. You're going to need to land 2 in order to get the critical strike off. So let's talk about the other windows for parrying here. You can see here he performed a sweeping attack from my right to my left. Now I mistimed this one and I took some damage, but basically any strike he does with the staff can be parried. I had no success in the 3 attempts that I had on this boss with parrying the magic weapons, so I'm not sure if that works at all, but feel free to let me know in the comments. After you get his health down to about half, Margit's going to leap back and pull out a golden magical hammer. Immediately after this, he's going to follow up with another massive leaping attack. Now this is the same trick as last time, and you should be ready to roll into him to avoid damage here and open up a window for a strike or 2. In this video you can see me get greedy when trying to punish, and honestly that's because I wasn't expecting to kill him in this attempt. Which brings me to my next point. Your attempts on bosses in these games shouldn't always be kill attempts. Sometimes you should be purely looking to learn timing, or a block, or how much damage you can take. Just pick something and try to figure out what you can handle in a fight. In this kill, I was actually trying to find the perfect timing for his sweeping attacks for parrying, and wound up getting a massive parry at the end, which led to me killing him. Each attempt you make, try to learn something new from it. Don't try and solve the entire puzzle in one go. As you put the pieces together, you'll find that you retain a lot more of that muscle memory than you initially thought. The reason why people struggle here isn't because of anything the boss does that's special. He's just really aggressive, and you have to meet this aggression by finding windows of 1 or 2 hits at a time, and then go back to perfecting your rolls or parries. For my heavy boys out there, you can posture break this guy with a couple of charge attacks, which will lead to a massive critical strike. You're going to have some issues with his speed when attempting this, but I've seen a few examples of it working, so it for sure exists out there. You just have to find that timing. My weapon of choice here was the Reduvia dagger, which causes quick bleed up, and its damage isn't particularly high, but after a number of strikes you're going to notice the bleed effect pay off, and he's going to lose a massive chunk of health. Combining this with parrying critical strikes, and you're going to be able to really take large chunks off his health at one time. Overall, Margit serves as a good entry-level boss whose job is to make sure you can perform the basics of combat. Play to your class's strengths on offense and focus on iframe rolling on defense, and you should be fine. If you really want to outclass him, throw some parries in there for some style points and slap it on YouTube. Other than that, guys, this fight is all about repetition. No one should have the expectation of taking this guy down on their first attempt, and the best piece of advice I can give you is just try not to get frustrated. Enjoy the learning process, and at the end of it all, you're going to come out as a much better player. So that's all I got for Margit. Again, it's not really a do this and you'll be successful. It's more about what are you looking for. Don't go in here just swinging for the fence thinking that you're going to out damage him up front, because you're just not going to do that. This fight requires you to get timing down, get your rolling down, get behind that shield, maybe return with like one of the return strikes from the shield, but then get back into dodging. Really asks you to mix things up and not just focus on one style of play. Unless of course you're a magic player, then you just spam magic attacks, I guess. But alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.